Hi everyone and welcome. I'm so happy to see you on this Monday. And for those of you who are celebrating Easter, who celebrated Easter yesterday and Passover or whatever else you may be celebrating, uh, please know I send you lots of good love and energy around this time as we've been socially isolating. And I hope that your holidays were filled with some creativity so that you didn't feel alone. Maybe you Zoomed with family members or friends and created a very maybe intimate experience for the day or for these last weeks of this really hard time for so many. Last night, actually, was a fun evening for me. Went online with another friend, and we actually played this game and called it was part of this game package called Jackbox, and really lots of fun. Very personal, and it was a drawing game, and for whatever reason I just couldn't even draw anything, but it was hilarious and it made us just laugh out loud, and it was like an hour's respite from the news and from thinking about what's going on right now in terms of our own isolation, our own grief, this kind of feeling a little pressure. The pressure is mounting for many, and the pressure of just, I need to get out of here. When can I go back to my life? And it's it's not really going to be about going back. It's going to be about how we frame this new normal. We're on day 21, 22 right now of this, at least in New York, of self quarantine, if you will, and being at home, really only going out for essentials. And it is this time where we start to think about, okay, first 2 weeks, maybe the first week, this was new, it was different. Cleaned my closets, I've been cooking a lot, and it's a now what kind of place. And in this now what kind of place, it's hard. It's scary. It's maybe filled or fraught with impatience. You might be feeling a little edgy, uh, sensitive, a little more sensitive than normal, and that's normal. You might be feeling like your partner is annoying you a little bit. Maybe not such a little bit. You may be finding that you're more tired because screen time actually seems to require a little more energy than when we're just in person, because even being in person, we can look around and we can see that we're, you know, we can take our focus off a little bit. And screen time, there is no off focus. And so it's like the brain is working on overdrive, and that makes like perfect sense. Why maybe you're a little more edgy, why this is just a harder time right now. So talking about edginess, talking about that this is kind of a hard time. And I'd like to introduce myself for those of you who are new to this Facebook Live at noon. My name's Edie Nathan. I work with grief, loss, and trauma. I'm a psychotherapist here in New York City, and also public speaker and workshop leader. Hopefully, uh, as we go into this next week, you've created a plan, because it will help with this sense of edginess, this sense of I'm getting to feel a little trapped or overwhelmed. And having a plan for your day is one of the best things you can do. So You set your alarm instead of just sleeping until you wake up. You shower, you do your hair or put on your makeup. It's not for anyone but you. Maybe for guys, you put on your cologne. You do something that lets you know this is the start of my day. And it's not just a lost day. If you're working from home and you're having a lot of screen time, try to take those breaks. Try to take a 10-minute break and rest your eyes. Take a 15-minute break and have some lunch or have some soup or drink some coffee or tea. Find ways that you schedule, find ways for self-care, because we don't know how long we're going to be staying in place. We don't know if it's going to be another week or 2 or 3, and learning how to do things on a schedule will actually help our brains to calm down a little bit. Are you feeling anxious? Are you feeling angry? Are you feeling frustrated? How's it coming out for you? And let me tell you what I've been hearing, what people have been sharing. It's anxiety coming knocking at your door and saying, I'm here. And you might find that you're having weird dreams and they're anxiety dreams, or that you're having trouble going to sleep. You might find that you're feeling a little malaise, not a depression, but just a sadness, a sense of feeling stuck, of how can I shake myself up a little bit? How can I get excited about something? So, you know, you can create these moments of meaning for yourself, not only with a schedule, by planning dates throughout your day. Don't have lunch alone. See who's around and have a lunch through Zoom or through WebEx or through FaceTime. So these are ways that you can really help some of the feelings of anxiety, the feelings of frustration, maybe even the feelings of anger. So if you're feeling anger, I understand. There's a lot to be angry about. If it's financial, if it's you're unsure about your relationship, if it's you're unsure about your job, if it's just that you're doing a lot of projecting, which also is about anxiety, but that projecting is not only making you afraid, it's making you angry because maybe you're a doer and you know that as long as you create your day and you know exactly what the plan is for the day, you're great. Or the plan is for the week or the month. And now that's just floating. And the anger can float too. So there are some folks who will tell you go and hit a pillow, and maybe that'll work for you, and just name what's going on for you. For others, that's not their thing, hitting a pillow. Maybe it's exercising with just a little more intensity. Maybe it's writing to yourself and journaling. And maybe that's what you need to be doing. I'm not exactly sure what will work for you, but if you're not sure as well, try these different things. Try these different exercises. Try the journaling, try hitting a pillow, try allowing yourself to be curious about different ways to express the anxiety or the anger or the frustration that's coming out. If you have a friend who you know is in need, and maybe is in need in a different way than you're in need, reach out. Set a time limit of how much time you're going to spend with them, because sometimes people who are in need, their neediness can drain you. So you want to protect yourself, but you also, in the protection of the self, you want to reach out. So reaching out can also calm the brain, and we know can increase happiness when we give and when we gift ourselves. And believe it or not, it can calm the anxiety. It can calm some of the anger and the frustration that you might be feeling. Today, Monday, here in New York, we've got a real storm brewing. And I've heard from friends who actually live in Nova Scotia that they had this kind of weather yesterday. And it kind of is mirroring the mood that people have been discussing on my platform. Just this sense of edginess, this sense of internal chaos, this sense of the anxiety and the anger brewing. So by naming it, there's a storm outside. By protecting myself, maybe I don't want to stand too close to a window. By sharing this fear with my partner and with other people I know who are living in the area, it makes me feel like I'm part of something, part of a community. So if you're feeling the anger or the anxiety or just the agitation, please know you don't have to do it alone. Share it, name it, and do something about it. Now, just because you do something about it, it doesn't necessarily mean it's just going to go away. But maybe if it's at a 10, maybe you can lower that 10 to an 8. And if it's at an 8, maybe you can lower it to a 6. Because any number that you can lower is a really good thing. And it's up to you. So you can do this. You can do this. So name it: anxiety, anger, frustration. Maybe give each one of these emotions a number. They are part of your grief. They are part of a grief reaction. And if you are experiencing any of these three, and you see, oh, so my anxiety is at an 8, my anger is at a 5, my frustration's at about a 7, try to lower them. Name them, write about them. Exercise around them, like exercise to an 8, even if it's a push-up or it's moving your arms. Even if you don't have weights at home, you can just move your arms up and down, and believe it or not, that creates a tension and a release, and a tension and a release. And you know, when you exercise through some of these emotions, these feelings, it affects the brain. And it changes the experience of each of these emotions. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for your feedback. It's so good to see you here, and I give you many blessings. Reach out to 3 people today. Tell them something that pisses you off. Maybe share a little bit about your anxiety, anger, and frustration. And tell them something that you've been curious about or something you've recently read. You've got this. You've got the power. You've had it all the time. And if you want more information, please contact me either at my website, ednathan.com, or you can write to me, itsgrief2@gmail.com. Thank you so much. Bye.